Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Build Your Best Life. I'm Coach Deborah, and I am super excited to have you here on Blueprint for Success. How are you, Deric?
I am doing great. I'm just glad to be here today and be able to communicate with you. And let's talk about this topic and dig in.
All right. I love it, love it, love it. Great evening, Dan. Thank you for tuning in. We are here to make a difference in the lives of our young men and also to encourage our mothers with sons. So we try to have some dynamic topics that will enlighten you, help you, and make you better. Well, we want to start out with Deric telling you a little bit about himself. I know he's been on here before, but hey, we always have, hopefully, we have someone new out there that has never met him. So, Deric, tell us what you love to do.
I love to just be of service. My name is Deric Durden. I am the owner of Deric Durden LLC. I am the board president and team life director for the nonprofit organization called Church. I I do speaking at churches, conventions, conferences, webinars, seminars, and I just really talk about overcoming obstacles. I talk about mental health. I talk about emotional intelligence, and just really pointing to the lives of individuals who are 9 times out of 10 going through something because at one point in life we're either going through something, we have been through something, or we're about to go through something. So I try to give uplifting, encouraging, and motivational talks to help everybody who's going through something.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I'm going to start this out a little differently today. I'm going to tell a little story that most of you have heard before, but based on our topic today, which is no limits, I want you to understand the perspective that we are coming from. So I'm going to read this story to you because I think a lot of times we forget our purpose in life and why we are on earth. And Deric mentioned, how he's trying to help and do things. And so that's a good thing. But we also limit ourselves. So check out this story. Now, this is the story of the Good Samaritan. A man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho is attacked by robbers, stripped, beaten, and left for dead by the roadside. A priest and a Levite, which are both religious leaders now, that should help people. They see the injured man, but they choose to avoid him, crossing to the other side of the road without offering help. Now, a Samaritan, who is traditionally viewed as an enemy by Jews, comes upon this injured man. So, although there are different religions, he shows compassion, tending to the man's wounds with oil and wine, which back then was very, very costly. And he placed him on his own donkey, meaning he had to walk. Now, this Samaritan takes the injured man to an inn, pays for his care, and then promises that he'll come back by the time this man is better and pay whatever is owed. So, in all of this, only one person showed mercy to this man. So, what is the lesson in all of this? That true compassion and neighborly love should be extended to everyone, everyone, regardless of their background, their religion, what you think of them, or anything like that. So, please keep that in mind. Now, Deric, I know you have done some things in your life that you're not proud of. However, you have come full circle back to where you started from, being a
Right.
compassionate young man who was always willing to help others. So, as a single man, you could be out living a life drinking and partying and clubbing and all of this. But we heard you when you came on of all these great things that you are doing to help people. So why are you spending your time trying to help people when you can be doing other things?
To be honest, the drinking and clubbing and having fun, I did that at a very young age. I got it out my system, but then it also led me down the path of being incarcerated. So once you hit that brick wall, you have to make a decision for yourself. Do I change the behavior or do I continue the behavior and continue to be in that same cycle of making those same decisions which push you in the same situation over and over again? So for me, I made a decision that my life was not going to end the same way that I started it out. So actually tapping into, because to be honest, when I was doing that, it was a facade. I was trying to be accepted. I was trying to fit in when really and truly I was born to be a unique individual just like everybody else. When we take that time to try to blend in, we really take away from ourselves instead of add to ourselves. And so for me, actually becoming more intimate with myself, becoming more in tune with who I am as a person, what God placed inside of me, the talents, the gifts, the qualities that He placed inside of me in order to, um, for the reason that He put me here on this earth. And I feel like I'm utilizing what was put inside of me for the calling and the reason why I was placed here. So that is the reason why I'm not doing what some people are doing or the things that I used to do on my path, because I made a final decision that say that I'm gonna want the rest of my life is gonna be the best of my life. And so in order to do that, you have to become, then you be, and that's when you have. And so right now, I've been building my best life by making the right decisions and socializing and associating with the right people.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I love what you said. You are not trying to be like everybody else. So, a lot of people think, I got to be like this one, I got to be like that one because I want to hang and be in a crowd with people. But it's better to do what? To stand out rather than to
Right.
fit in.
Right.
And, once our young men realize it's not about trying to fit in, be your unique self, like you have found that is important. So, thank you for that response. I love it.
For sure.
Yeah, okay, now I guess you say, well, she sure doing a lot of reading today. But I told you I was going to give you a scenario. So this is a scenario. Um, Now, so you walk into a poorly lit building. You see people everywhere, and they are acting like they're frightened. Something's going on. You don't know what's going on. But even though they're scared, they're pointing to this curtain. You don't know what's behind the curtain, but you're soon to find out. So, what is behind the curtain is three people. The first person is a 35-year-old Jewish man that has been shot. That's one of the people back there. Then the second one is a 35-year-old African American that has stepped on a broken bottle and he's just bleeding everywhere. And then the third person is a 35-year-old woman who is in labor. So we got two 35-year-old males. One is a Jewish and he's been shot, African American, stepped on a broken bottle, and this 35-year-old woman is in labor. Okay, you are the only one willing to do anything. Everybody else is just standing back. How do you handle this situation? What are you going to do? No limits.
No limits. First of all, just looking at the situation, we have basically four lives at hand. And I can't save all of them by myself. So the first thing I would do would be connect with the people who are watching to gather up a team, put together a quick game plan, and then try to save all of the people. Okay. So I think that a lot of times we go into situations and we try to be the superhero. A lot of people want credit, but at the end of the day, it's more about results than it is about accomplishments. Um, First and foremost, the first and most important person in that situation to me would be the woman that's pregnant, because it's not only one life, it's actually two lives at stake. So let's try to make sure that we can get her to where she needs to be as soon as possible. And then we have the man who's bleeding. The first thing that we need to do for him is to stop the bleeding. So let's take somebody's shirt, somebody's pants, wrap up what's going on, where he's bleeding from, to try to add some pressure and stop the bleeding until we can try to get him to another situation. And then the Jewish man, he's been shot. Uh, there's really, in that situation, all you can do is also apply pressure. So I would rally up the troops that's behind me. Let's try to put it together a game plan, and in that order, try to get these people out of the situation as fast as possible.
Great. Now, for those of you who are listening, what did you hear in all of that? He didn't use any bias. He used his head, no limits. The thing is to help people. So to do that, hey, you got a problem solving, you need to have a game plan, no limits on anything, no limits on your thinking, whether or not you want to get involved. You are on this earth given the skills that you have to use them to help others. So, hey, those people that are scared, deer in the headlight, he got all of them involved, put a game plan together to help as many people as possible. And this is what we need to do in life: step out of our safe places and get out and help those that need help. You know, you don't know what you don't know because you don't know. And if no one steps up to help, to assist you in what you're going through, to teach you things, then you will remain not knowing because you don't know that you don't know. So people like Deric, like Coach Ricardo Miller, Keno McCartney, all those people out there assisting others, Megs, that's what we need in the body. No limits. So thank you for that, Deric. That was just awesome.
I appreciate you.
Now, now we've been talking about no limits, and so I've been putting all meat on no limits. What does no limits mean to you?
Well, when I think about no limits, I think about possibility. Uh, And the truth of the matter is, anything can be possible with the right work ethic, with the right tool set, with the right um, group of people behind you. And also, if you're religious, I mean, anything we know and understand the scripture that says anything, all things are possible through Christ who strengthens you. And so, for me, when I think about no limits, I think about potential, I think about possibility, the unlimitedness of the mind, what can be created. Just think about it. How many years ago we didn't even have cell phones? How many years ago we didn't have cars that drive themselves? That was only figments of our imagination. We saw them on cartoons. We have AI that can answer questions for us at the push of a button. When just 10 years ago, some of those things didn't even exist.
All right.
So it just shows us that there is no limit to our mind, no limit to what can be accomplished. Because just maybe 10 years from now, some of the things that we find that are so important now, those things will be eventually obsolete and be replaced by something even more powerful, even more effective. And so for me, that's just what when I think about no limits, I think about the parameters of possibilities and potential.
All right, that's good. All right, so again, listen at those words: possibilities. We can do all things through Christ who strengthen us, right? So we got unlimited amount of possibilities, but you got to put in the work. You got to put in some actions. No limits. So, Deric, can you provide those that are listening with some tips on improving the world's plight by being more compassionate, more loving, and eager to help others?
To be honest, one thing that I know and understand and see right now is that we live in a society that's real selfish. Everybody puts themselves first or put their desires first. And it's crazy because this even applies to a parent and a child, a husband, a wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. So how do these relationships who are based on compromise, based on shared ideals and goals, how can they truly survive when everybody is self-centered, self-focused? When in order to really thrive and survive, everything depends on something else. Just like a flower depends on the sun, the flower depends on the soil and water. Nothing is a standalone entity. Us as humans, we need the sun, we need air, we need each other because we know and understand that nobody was created to be alone. Because if they were, it wouldn't be 7 billion people in the world.
Right.
And so for me, the main thing is taking away the false identity of perfection also. A lot of us think that we can judge other people and point out what they do wrong, but when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we see a, a fictional perfection. Social media have us so infatuated with presenting ourselves in the best way forward. Like everything that we post on social media has to be picture ready, has to be photogenic. Nobody posts their bad days. Nobody posts a broken relationship. Nobody posts all of the negative things or quote unquote struggles that we face in life, but everybody wants to paint the picture of perfection. And so with that comes an idea of it's easy to judge others while portraying an image of perfection. So if you think that you're perfect or you have this identity of being perfect and everybody else is unperfect, there's no way that you can be compassionate
It's good.
because you feel like there's nothing for you to change. If you haven't been through anything, then how can you be compassionate towards other? How can you see another person as equal or somebody who might need help? Just like you said about the Samaritan story, the people who were religious were so perfect, so upright, so upstanding that they couldn't step down to the level of the person that was injured because they had a certain identity about themselves, a certain reputation that they felt like they needed to uphold.
That's
And
right.
so it's just a continuous cycle of that same idea, that same mindset of placing yourself on such a pedestal compared to other people. When you get inside that comparison trap, you only set yourself up for failure. Because if you compare yourself to other people, you're going to either see yourself as better or worse than other people. And if you see yourself as better, you're going to look down on people. But if you see yourself as less, then your self-worth is going to be dropped. It's going to lower. And then that's going to make you even more effective in order to really do the things that you need to do in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So that's those two things of selfishness and looking at ourselves with a perfectionist idea and looking down on others are two things that I really see that um, stops people from being compassionate, puts up that barrier of that they build a fortress around themselves and those walls push other people out while keep themselves inside this quote unquote palace of perfection.
Oh, that's good. That's real deep, Derek. That's good. I can see that. And you are so right. You always want to look down on people, never think about what they may be going through. It's just what we can find wrong with that person. They didn't do this right. They didn't do that right. But do we know what that person is going through in their lives?
Right.
No, don't care.
Right. And even in that comparison, it's like it's part of the social media trend also. When you see somebody else's story and they look so perfect, then you look at your story and you like, man, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. I wish my relationship looked like their relationship. But you don't see behind the scenes what's going on in their relationship, in their household, with their finances. And so you comparing yourself to another fictional story, image that's being portrayed, not something that's realistic, not anything that's real life applicable. And so with that idea and you chasing something that's not realistic, you get off track from where you actually supposed to be headed by chasing something where you're not even supposed to be chasing in the first place.
Yes. And I don't know, the only thing I can say is, we have to work on ourselves and do what we can. I know that you are doing, aren't you? Camera? Whatever, I'm sorry, whatever is for. They got the money. I'm sorry, people. I got extra stuff going on. They got the money. You still want to get it? I don't know if that. Whatever. I cut you down. See, I'm live and I'm dealing with a household situation. But anyway, um, that's the only thing we can do is work on ourselves and hope and pray that we look at what's going on and don't put those limits on, not even on ourselves, but to open our hearts and minds so that we can do a better job of reaching out and helping those that need the help, especially our young men. You know, I've been doing this since 2019, and that this is a passion that God put on my heart. And you know, in 2019, since 2019, you know, it's getting worse. If anything's not getting better. So that tells me that we need a lot of people stepping up. So whatever you can do to work on yourselves, remove your limits so that we can help those people in the world that we have been assigned to help, because many of us are assigned to help certain groups of people, you know, seniors, young girls, young men, young adults. So we need to step up and do what we can do.
I totally agree with you. And a lot of times it's about, if you want to help people, you help people through stuff that you already been through. It's so many people who, especially, I don't know why I keep saying this, but social media, there's so many experts on social media who can tell you what to do or what you should be doing, but they never lived it. They got these so-called ideas or knowledge that they found probably somewhere else on social media that they're just copying and presenting it in order to create content and create cash flow, but they never really experienced some of these things. It's like trying to get somebody who's never been addicted to drugs to try to save people who's addicted to drugs. How can you know truly know and understand what they're going through if you haven't experienced it?
All right.
You have some people who learn certain things in books or school, but haven't actually went through it. Yeah, you might can understand the psychology of some things, but the psychology is one thing, but the embodiment of it, actually going through it physically, going through it mentally, it is another level which allows you to connect with individuals who are going through a certain thing. That's like me trying to teach somebody how to be a millionaire and I've never been a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense. You have to be very, very careful who you take advice from,
That's
because
right.
some people will lead you down a path that you don't want to go through just because it's trying to make a dollar, trying to make get followers.
Yeah, and that's so true, you know. Um, and I can identify with that. I think Derek might be having a little technical difficulties, but I can identify with that. I know when I was in school working on my master's degree, um, one of the classes that I had to take was I had to either go to, I think, a mental health facility or or either like Alcoholics Anonymous, uh, to do, you know, be in a real live meeting. And so even though back in, I guess since I was in my early 20s to my early 30s, I drank a lot, but I stopped like that. But that didn't mean that I was, I know it all about people that drink. But I don't think I was alcoholic, but you know, I did drink. But going, you know, going to those meetings and listening to people that are alcoholics, because you know it's a once alcoholic, always alcoholic, because they can go back just like that. They're just one um, action away. That's something they can do themselves, or something somebody that does that can trigger them, and they will go backwards to drinking. And so it was just eye-opening and amazing to hear them talk about the stories and how they got where they are in their lives, or where they were when they were just really really drinking, and they weren't trying to stop anything. But getting back to what we were saying, you never know what people are going through, what people have been through. And some of the stories, like growing up in a house with addictive parents, or one addictive parent, and they giving you alcohol when you were 14, 15 years old, and that's all you ever knew. So again, to clarify and say more about Deric's point, if you haven't lived it, you haven't been there and done that, you're not always the best one to try to tell people what to do. And again, and I'll let Deric finish. He's saying social media paints this, beautiful picture, and they got all the answers.
Right, right. It's just that in today's time, we need people to not only tell us what to do, we need people who are gonna actually get down and dirty with us and walk us through that process. And that's why it's so important to have been there, because we need people to hold our hands. We need people who are gonna
Yes.
take us step by step in going through these processes, because a lot of us are going through these processes blind, and we're going through them and not being effective in those processes. One thing that I have, you mentioned Ricardo Miller earlier. I have you, I have Deacon Dan, I have a lot of people, a lot of mentors who are already doing what I'm trying to do. So y'all are holding my hand. Y'all walking me through the process. I'm not doing this alone. Life is not a do-it-yourself project. So having individuals like you, Ricardo Miller, Latonge Woods, and Isaiah Rucker, and these guys, and the individuals who are taking me through these processes and helping me learn and understand certain things, because y'all already been there. Y'all making my learning curve a whole lot faster than if I was going through making the mistakes myself. So we always hear the saying, learn from other people's mistakes. So if y'all already made certain mistakes, y'all can show me how to avoid some of the same mistakes that y'all made, in order to get me to where I'm trying to go and where I'm destined to go a lot faster than I would on my own. And
Yep.
so that's why it's so important to have been, or already at a higher level than the person that you're trying to bring up.
Yes, it is. And hi, Jocelyn and Peggy. Thank y'all for tuning in. Um, I hope that you have been enjoying this conversation, No Limits. And I know Jocelyn is another one who, walks the story and is there to help and us and assist other people. So we are just, some of us are just so blessed to have people to walk with us and show us the way, and helping us to learn by what they've gone through in life. And so we're very blessed. So build your best life. We're here to assist. Deric, he's here to assist. Hey, thank God. Sometimes, like when COVID was here, it was like, oh my goodness, this is the worst thing ever. But if not for COVID, I wouldn't be probably be doing this virtual thing. So I am able to help. I never would have met Deric because he's in Dallas and I'm in Jacksonville. But because of COVID and getting on Zoom and StreamYard and all these things, I've had an opportunity to meet so many people. Jocelyn, she's in Texas. And so through these relationships, we are able to help each other. So Deric, he's in Dallas, but he can help people in Japan, New York, Hawaii, all over the world. So if you have something that's going on and you know someone that has an issue that's going on, all you have to do is reach out, and Deric could give you his information. I think y'all have my information, but I'll put it up on the run it on the frame. But Deric can give you his information. We are here to assist, and that's right, Jocelyn. Relationships are key. Yeah. So Deric, you have information that you want to share?
Yes, you can reach me on Facebook as Deric C. Durden. You can reach me on Instagram also as Deric C. Durden. TikTok is Deric D. Knighting. I have a website, DericDurdenLLC.com. I'm on LinkedIn also as Deric Durden. And you can reach out to me on all those platforms. Get me directly if you need
So thank y'all all for tuning in today. And this is my email address. And my website is www.buildyourbestlife.org. That's www.buildyourbestlife.org. But you can always put things in the comment. Message me on my Build Your Best Life Facebook page. But again, we're here to help. Please join us Thursday for Let's Talk About It. My guest is going to be Anastasia Smith, and we're going to be talking about companies that care. Companies that care. And you probably say, what does that have to do with young men? Well, guess what? School will be out soon. We have teenagers looking for part-time jobs or maybe full-time jobs during the summer. We have college students graduating, looking for that job they've been getting all this education for. Guess what? Just like companies shop you, you need to shop companies. You don't want to go and work anywhere because they're in the business that you have a degree in. You need to find out information about the companies that you plan to work for, you want to work for. So please join us Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 5:30 Central Time. And I think we're going to have a lot of good information for you. You have anything else to say before we close, Deric? You're on mute. Can't hear you. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on here with us and all the information that you shared today. Everyone, remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. Have a wonderful week. And I hope to see some of you on Thursday. Bye-bye.